Germany had acquired a colonial empire in Africa and the Pacific, more than 4 times the area of her homeland, and she had developed a huge export trade. In the Far East was the only naval force outside the North Sea that carried the flag of Imperial Germany, the German Asiatic Squadron under Admiral Graf von Spee. This alone defended Germany's Pacific colonies. The Allies planned von Spee's immediate destruction. Take away his bases, his radio and coaling stations, and his squadron would be helpless. The first to be seized was Samoa. Palms and sands and lazy islanders ringed by the glamorous South Seas. This was where Robert Louis Stevenson of Treasure Island had died and been buried. That ridiculous island, the Kaiser called it. There was no fighting in Samoa. A party of New Zealanders came ashore to accept the German surrender with due ceremony. The black, red, and white flag of Germany came slowly down the mast, and the Union flag flew in its place. On the same day, the BEF was marching back from Mons and Le Cateau in dour exhaustion. On September the 10th, the remote tropical war moved to another German island, New Pomerania, off the coast of New Guinea. There was a brisk action, ending in an Australian victory. On September the 15th, the whole of German New Guinea surrendered. Australia, in her first campaign of conquest, had added 90,000 square miles to the British Empire at a cost of 6 dead and 4 wounded. But Germany's strongest Pacific colony and von Spee's main base was Tsingtao on the Kiao Chau Peninsula of China. Its governor telegraphed to Berlin,
Tsingtao is impregnable. It cannot be taken from the sea, and no one would try from the land.
But it could be besieged. Japanese, British, and Indian troops landed on September the 2nd. The Japanese had a problem. They couldn't tell a German European from an English one.
We sent out a mixed patrol, ourselves and the Japanese, and they shot one of our men. They've never really forgiven for that. Asked why they did it, they said, oh, we look the same as the Germans. So they gave us Japanese kimonos coming down to our thighs, which had capes. And then when we all wore kimonos, we were all sort of chaps together. There were no more accidents.
The siege of Tsingtao went on for 9 weeks. The Japanese brought up heavy howitzers to smash the forts, as the Germans had smashed Liège and Namur.
We were out resting now on the 6th and 7th. We were behind a ridge, nice cover. And all of a sudden, the Japanese officer coming on horseback, full gallop. He says, Germans finish, Germans finish. White flag is up. And they surrendered on the 7th, on a Sunday morning, the 7th of November.
Now the last islands to fly the German flag in the Pacific fell one by one. The Marianas and the Carolines, the Marshalls and Bougainville. And one by one, Admiral von Spee lost his hopes of coal and succor. His sleek ships steamed on in isolation. Winston Churchill described his dilemma.
With the blockade of Tsingtao, he was cut off from his only base on that side of the world. To steam at full speed or at high speed for any length of time on any quest was to use up his life rapidly. He was a cut flower in a vase, fair to see, yet bound to die.